Kat, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing, Ambassador?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for joining us here and teaching us how to make your famous ambassadorial mint chocolate chip ice cream.
There you go, there you go. Yes, it's an American recipe with mostly Lithuanian ingredients. So you want to learn about the ingredients, right?
I do.
All right, we've got Lithuanian cream, 35%, 450 milliliters. We've got whole milk, 3.5% fat, and we've got 270 milliliters of that.
So the fat's important.
The fat's important in ice cream, I hate to say it. So you can play with it a bit, but if you do it at your own risk. Okay. And then I've got 150 milliliters of sugar. This is actually the minimum amount. You can't play around with this sugar too much. Some people go up a bit higher, but this is pretty much on the lower side, and I think it's as low as you can get.
Okay.
We've got salt. We're going to use a pinch of that. I've got a little bit of oil, or so. We have 70% cocoa dark chocolate,
Yum.
a full bar, 100 milligrams, although we'll only use 80 milligrams, and then you and I are going to eat the other 20. Yeah. And 5 eggs, but we're just going to take the yolks from the eggs. Now, what do you need in terms of equipment? There are ways to make ice cream without an ice cream maker, but I don't do that. But the good news is you don't have to have an expensive ice cream maker, but you do have to have an ice cream maker, I think, to make really good, smooth ice cream.
Okay.
So we've got that. I've got a strainer, a wire strainer. Mm-hmm. I've got a pot because we're going to make this on the stove. See, a nice heavy metal pot. I've got a nice Pyrex bowl that'll be good in the refrigerator, that'll withstand changes in heat and cold. I've got a mixing bowl, small bowl, a couple of stirrers. These are actually important. You want something that will allow you to scrape from the bottom of the pot, but then also once you're trying to scrape everything into your ice cream maker. So I've got this, which is a silicone spatula, which is perfect for making ice cream, but also something like this is also really good too. And this is important. I've got a whisk. I've got a small bowl and a fork, and I'll show you what that's used for. And I've also got scissors. I bet you're wondering why I have scissors.
I am wondering why.
Okay, let's go outside. We're out here in my garden, and there's obviously fresh mint. There's lots of different kinds of mint that you can actually use. There's chocolate mint, there's apple mint, there's spearmint, and I think this is just regular peppermint. But there are lots of different flavors, and they can actually have an impact on the flavor of the ice cream, but that's what actually makes it really interesting. So we're going to grab a handful of mint.
Great.
So we're just going to get a nice healthy handful. You can smell it. See, smell.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. I'll get one more for good luck. So we've got a nice handful of mint. So that's why we needed the scissors.
Gotcha.
Put them aside, and now we're going to use this to rinse off the mint.
Gosh, you can really smell that mint, can you?
I know, the smell is fantastic. Shaking it off a bit, and I'll just put that aside here for right now. Who knows? All right, now, next thing, pull out our pot here. Put in our full-fat Lithuanian cream.
The whole thing.
35%, we're putting in the whole thing.
Oh, this is going to make it so nice and rich.
It will definitely be rich. All right.
Look at that.
I know, you can even see, well anyway, it's going to be worth it in the taste. Now there are lots of ways to make ice cream, actually. I think certainly in the beginning you really have to stay close with the recipes, because if something gets off kilter, it can really affect the texture or the taste, or it'll become rock hard in the freezer, which you don't want. You want to still be able to scoop it. But the way that we're making it now is called a French style ice cream, where it's custard based. So we're going to use the egg yolks.
And that's why you cook it.
And that's why it's cooked as well. There are some kinds of ice cream that aren't cooked necessarily, but they tend to freeze very hard, and they're not nearly as rich as the kind with eggs or with other ingredients. Sometimes you can use cornstarch in ice cream. There are other sorts of additives that you can use that'll ensure it has the right texture. But this is really straightforward. This is all natural, and this is the classic French style ice cream.
Who taught you how to make this?
Who taught me how to make it? I learned on my own through trial and error. And about 12 years ago, when I was in Iraq, I went out on this mission with actually a 2 or 3 star general. And we saw this group of individuals, a minority in the country, who had faced some hardship there, but nonetheless they didn't have hardship in terms of bringing in fresh ingredients. And I had there for the first time Persian ice cream, which was this very exotic flavor with rose water and saffron and pistachios. And I thought, I want to learn how to make this. And when I came back to the US, I found an ice cream maker. And I gradually, through trial and error, got better and better and better, because I wanted not just to make ice cream, but I wanted to make good ice cream.
Right.
And I wanted to make ice cream that you could scoop and play with different flavors. And so I just became really obsessed with it. I mean, it probably would have been better if I'd had an obsession with like low-calorie protein drinks, but this just happened. And the science of it, I think, is really fascinating too. And so that's how I started doing it. Oh my gosh, it made me very popular.
Yeah.
I was very popular for Sunday dinner parties, and it's really, sometimes I thought it was the only thing people really wanted from me is ice cream.
They expect it.
We already put our cream in here. Now we're going to put our milk in here. Now I'm going to put our sugar in here. Okay. And now we're going to go put it on the stove on medium heat. And this is when I pull up my spatula and stir. We move it from the heat. Take our mint. There we go. And then I just put in the stems too.
Wow.
I just do that. I've seen no change in flavor from the stems, and I figure there's probably some flavor in the stems too. And now we wait for an hour.
The leaves are nice and wilted.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell it too.
Mm-hmm. And the milk and cream are a slight green. And now we've got to separate our eggs. We only want the yolks. It's a pinch of salt, a little bit more. I think it's about a half teaspoon, maybe a little bit less. And whisk it, okay? And then what I'll do is pour it back in. You can see the track in the back of the spoon.
Yep.
Do that again. All right, we're ready. Into a dish. Because you need to put this in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours. Usually what I do is I make this the night before and I keep it in overnight. And I'll bring out from the freezer canister here. It's been in for at least 24 hours. So usually I just, once I'm done with them, I put them back in the freezer and just leave them there. So you get 10 grams and I get 10 grams. And now, are you ready for the magic?
Yes.
Right. Here is the magic. Okay. Pull as much as you can off of this thing.
It's beautiful. It's all consistent.
It's nice and smooth, and this is like soft serve-ish ice cream.
Mm-hmm. So you could actually serve it like
You
this.
could serve it like this and eat it like this. Pull the ice cream out. I think it's actually really best at that 4 hour point. but you can still keep it in your freezer for several days. After about a week, it starts to not have the same composition anymore, and it's not as good. So you really should eat it within a week or so, but it's best, I think, 4 hours later.
Moment of truth.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
So this is homemade mint chocolate chip ice cream, ambassadorial style.